Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for tuning in to the Skol State of Mind podcast. I'm your host, D Woods, and you know what time it is. You know what time of the week it is. Game day preview. Our Minnesota Vikings will be facing off against the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday night football. Now, I got a couple of topics I want to dive into. So, thank you for tuning in. So, let's get straight into it. Top storylines coming into this game from my point of view. Now, I understand we still on a little bit of a high from that Monday night football game, that fourth quarter comeback from JJ McCarthy. But as a Viking fan and a fan that wants this team to be playing in February, that win was great. But now we got to move on to the Falcons. And that's not throwing any shade on that game. But if we want this team to succeed and be playing in February and actually make some noise, this team has to consistently stack wins on good teams, bad teams, and indifferent. That's just how I look at it. We got to move on, business as usual. Now, another storyline that I think is something that a lot of people aren't talking about is this is going to be the first time JJ McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr. face off since the college title game. And we know how that game ended. And we know McCarthy was hosting the trophy as a national champion. So I think McCarthy is coming into this game with just a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, because there were multiple quarterbacks drafted ahead of him in their respective draft. McCarthy was drafted number 10, and Penix was drafted just a pick ahead of him, I think at number 9. So for a guy like McCarthy, who's ultra competitive, I think that kind of irks him a little bit for him to come into the draft having a national title and for people to look at him like he wasn't a quarterback that shouldn't have been sought after. So that's something we got to look at. And also, I just got to say it, and it's kind of cool right now that it's not a big deal, but we actually have no Kirk Cousins storylines, which is cool with me. But on the offensive side of the ball for the Vikings, it will be Adam Thielen's first time in a home game back in a Vikings uniform. So I think the crowd gonna go wild for him. I think, you know, he gonna be on the big screen, whatever they call it over there. And I can't wait. I'm actually gonna be in attendance too. So let's keep it moving and let's talk about the injury report. All right. So the injuries go like this. Now, you got Tyrone Wheatley Jr. He's already on IR. So he's basically done for the season. You got James Pierce Jr., which is questionable. DeMarco Helms, which is questionable. Jordan Fuller, questionable. And Casey Washington, which is also questionable. But the one player that I don't see on this injury report is Drake London. I was hearing word that Drake London was a little banged up, and it was a question for him not to play. So if he's not on this injury report right here, that means he must have had a full practice already. So let's talk about our Vikings. All right. So we got center Ryan Kelly, questionable. Christian Darrisaw, questionable. Jeff Okuda, questionable. Harrison Smith, questionable. And Blake Cashman, questionable. Now, I'm going to give you my opinion on our Viking players on who I feel is that's not going to play. I think Ryan Kelly will play. But as far as Darrisaw, I'm not sure if he plays this game either. I understand they held him out during the Bears game because the side, they didn't want him slipping and re-aggravating his knee. I get that. But if Darrisaw is not officially 100% ready, then you don't have to rush him out there. And I know Justin Skol had an up and down game. It wasn't great, but you have to always look at the other end. If you bring Darisaw back early and he's not 100% ready, are you getting that high caliber left tackle that you expect? So if we have to wait a couple of more weeks for Darisaw, I'm cool with that. Now Jeff Okuda is something that happened. I didn't even see it. I just heard about it. Afterwards they said that he suffered a concussion on the last play of the game, basically when they was doing all that lateral nonsense. So he's basically in concussion protocol. I think that's up and down. But the thing about this injury is this, though, right? We had a conversation about the Vikings going into the season with only four cornerbacks. Now you might be already down one. They might have to do something, maybe not this game, but after this game is done, figure something out, actually bringing somebody in to bring in more depth to the cornerback room. Now, Harrison Smith, it's that undisclosed illness. I don't know what's going on. I just read that he says that he should be good in a couple of weeks, so he's basically not playing. Now, Blake Cashman, on the other hand, suffered a hamstring injury chasing down Caleb Williams. He's not going to play. If you guys saw my short earlier in the week, it's going to be interesting to see how Brian Flores tries to master production. Is he going to bring Van Ginkel on the inside and let Dallas Turner, sub on the out for Gink, or is he just going to let Eric Wilson just eat up all the time in the middle? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. So let's get back to it. All right, let's talk about some of the offensive strategies. All right, so I think we got to throw away everything we saw on Monday night because the offense didn't really give us nothing to actually, build on and talk about because they were behind and they were trying to hurry up and put points on the board. But I would say the one thing that we probably could get from that game is the consistency of Kevin O'Connell staying with the running game. Now, football out there, some of the best things that a young quarterback should have is a running game, a good offensive line, and a good defense. Now, on paper, we seem to have all three. So my offensive strategy going to this game would be let's not overthink this game. Let's go in there, run the ball, put some points on the board, let McCarthy get comfortable, let the defense run around, do their thing, and that's the end of the game. But I think this whole offensive strategy going to this game actually starts with consistently running the ball. All right. I'm going to say it again, consistently running the ball. And I have to add, they have to get McCarthy comfortable early. We can't wait to the fourth quarter for McCarthy to get comfortable. Now, as for the defense, Brian Flores is known to rattle young quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks, second-year quarterbacks, straight up young quarterbacks. He's known to rattle them. So I think he's going to have his way with Michael Penix. I'm not too worried about that. I feel the defense was kind of, playing a little lackluster early on Monday night, but when they counted, they only held them to like 17 points for like three quarters, which is pretty good. They was that bend don't break mentality, but I actually think during this game, especially with Cashman not playing, I think Brian Flores is gonna call the blitzes early to create some turnovers and get the offense more possessions so they can finish this game early. That's what I think the defense is gonna look like. They're gonna be some dogs on Sunday night. Now, key players to watch. All right. We always talk about the quarterback, so I'm not gonna go there this time. I'm gonna bring this guy up again because I think he's a key factor on this offense. I mean, he made a hell of a block for McCarthy to get the rushing touchdown on Monday, and it's TJ Hawkinson. I think him being a key player in this game, I think McCarthy has to look for him, in the middle of the field to kind of get it going, because if you are trying to like double team Justin Jefferson and then you have to worry about Hawkinson in the middle, it's going to be a problem. But I really want to see McCarthy be able to get Hawkinson rolling in this offense, because we know Hawkinson can be a beast, you know, as a tight end, but we haven't seen it, because it's like the first year, the second year looked good. Looked like he was on pace for 1,000 yards. At the end of the season, blew the knee out. So now, you know, last year wasn't that great. He didn't get no touchdowns, but I think he has to be a key player, especially for McCarthy, getting him comfortable, you know, for the game. And for defense, I'm gonna say the corners, man. Like with Jeff Okuda probably not playing due to the concussion, I need the corners, whoever plays, you know, Isaiah Rodgers and Brian Murphy Jr. I need y'all to I'm not gonna say step it up, because you say step it up, that basically mean they had a bad game last game. They didn't play too bad on Monday, but I need y'all to be some dogs out there too. So I'm depending on the corners to actually come in and lock these guys down. Now, X factors. I mean, we can say Miles Price, because Miles Price had a great game as a punt returner, kick returner. But if he keep this up, then he won't be an X factor. It'll just be a guarantee that he can have a good game. But that's all I can really say for the X factor. But maybe Adam Thielen can be an X factor. Maybe we're gonna see a emergence of Adam Thielen. You know, maybe like 5 catches, 75 yards on a touchdown. Maybe that maybe we can get that, especially Adam Thielen coming back to Minnesota in the first home game. So that's something to look forward to. So let's get down to my score prediction. All right. I got the Minnesota Vikings winning off top. All right. So my score prediction will be 24-14 Minnesota. All right. 24-14 Minnesota. That's how I think this game is going to shake out. That's how I want it to shake out. That's how I hope it shake out. As long as the Vikings get a win, but score prediction, I got to give it to y'all, 24-14 Vikings. Now, that's pretty much all of my topics right now for this game day preview. So I just want to tell everybody out there, thank you for liking the videos, commenting on the videos, giving me, you know, some kind of content to talk about on this channel. And I'm keeping my word. I'm bringing you guys way more content, more consistently. So I'm out. And you know how I end it. Skol, baby.